So I think most of you know, and you know, something happened, and all of a sudden Joe was no more with us. No, we need to do a memorial. We have to do something, and we have to wait quite a while. But we're really happy, and thank you, Joe, for having us, that we're able to do it here, and thank you guys for coming.
We also want to thank all of the musicians and composers for all the time and talent they put out. Many of us, of course, were inspired back in the early 80s. Some of the music on screen, Millet's apparent osage over here, Brian, will years and many memories, of course, of Joe Pearson's career, and we'll be hearing many examples of his own works as well as compositions which were written in response to his influence and legacy.
You know, usually you have somebody passes away and you have a memorial, and people come to a funeral home or whatever, some kind of a place, and people talk, and that's cool, and we like that. But you know, Joe did start this group with Hardish, who's here as well, and we're all, oh, Patrick, think about it, Patrick's over there. And you know, when I was young, I was very supportive of me, and when we got Concordance, Dan Cooper board, we both been running for, I don't know how many years. But I thought that if we're going to have a memorial for Joe, we should have music, because I met Joe through music, we communicated through music, we were friends, but music is music. So I thought it would be great if a lot of his friends, people who know him, write pieces, and everybody who's performing and composing for the concert is invited to say a few words before their piece. So that will be the Joe tribute, of course.
Biography of Joe's life and work on the last page of the program, and typically at the very end of the program we would be putting a next event page.
But this is our season finale.
This is the end of the 21 season.
We had a pretty busy season. I don't know, we had at least 20 concerts. I don't know.
Thanks to live streaming and everyone's dedication and talent, we were able to keep the concerts going and reschedule many events.
Right. So next year we have a whole bunch of more. So go check it out. It's too early to push. But what I want to say, so my wife Kim, who's not here, she painted a painting of Joe, and it's over there. And then Linda brought a painting that she had on her wall of Joe, but Joe when he was much younger. So you have old Joe, young Joe, and both paintings. And we didn't coordinate. Actually, I was going to surprise Linda with a painting by my wife Kim, and she had this painting. I'm like, great, we'll put them side by side. So you know, a little art show on the side. We're multi stuff. So I think we're going to turn over the mic to Linda Pehrson, and Linda's going to come up and say a couple of things, and then she'll tell you what she'll do.
Okay, thank you everyone for coming and enjoy.
I want to thank you all for coming out on Father's Day. It's really, really noble of you to come out and help celebrate the life and music of my dear husband, Joseph Pehrson. We had a wonderful marriage, and I have albums of concerts and of our life together that are in the lobby, and feel free to breeze through them, and you'll get a sense of our life together, which was great. So, Joseph asked me, he wrote a lot of electronic music and alternate tunings, and he asked me to prepare a visual for the electronic music, because electronic music, usually people push a button and listen to the music with their eyes closed. So I developed choreography to it because I'm a ballet addict. I take ballet classes all the time, so it was really fun for me to create new movements to the new music that he wrote. So now I guess I'm going to turn over the mic and perform Beefy.
Joe was really into microtonal music. It's really hit. That was beautiful. So, let's set this up. Next piece I wrote, but let me. Yeah, I do. I'll talk into this one. Oh. Oh, there you go, sorry. So, unfortunately, I've had to write a lot of pieces called In Memory Of. I don't know, so lots of my friends have passed away, and I found, you know, I don't really know how to deal with death and grief and all that stuff, so my only way of dealing with it is really writing music. So I have the name of the piece, I could always remember the friend and remember this music that I wrote is my, you know, my thoughts about my friend. So I did write In Memory of Joseph Pehrson very quickly after he passed away in April, and I wrote this piece immediately. I'm glad that we're able to play it. Now for you. So this is for you, Joe. We love you, and rest in music. Lynn Bechtold, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see more of Lynn. She's doing that. So, I'm going to invite on stage Peter Jarvis, who, Peter, well, he's on our board, Concordance, and he was at one of the first concerts of composed. So he's known Joe longer than me. So, we're going to play a piece by Joe, but first, Peter, say a couple words if you do like.
Sure. First, just very quickly, this piece about 10 years or so ago, I really don't remember anymore. Gene and I had started a duo. We were going to do a Pritsker Jarvis CD, which we did. And the first things we did was ask Joe to write a piece, and he wrote this piece. But that aside, I'd like to just mention Joe and Pat. One of the things I thought was so special about them, and yeah, I've been around since the very first season. I don't know if it was the first concert or whatever, but it was certainly the first concert that had percussion. So I've been observing what they're doing and part of it and affected by it for decades. One of the things that I thought was very special about Joe and Pat's approach was the fact that they were so incredibly open-minded to music. And not only, like a lot of directors sometimes loosen up after some decades and they have really nothing left to prove. They can just kind of let the ego go and let things happen. But Joe and Pat, right from day one, they were always interested in input from the performers. They would ask me, is there anything you would like to do? Man, is that unique. When the director will say, is there a piece you'd like to play? Or is there something you would like to do? And it was nice to see that they were open-minded to so many styles of music, so many different composers from so many different quote-unquote schools of composition, European composers, American composers alike, but all different styles. And it was really special. It was one of the things that kept me so interested in composing Concordance. And by extension, Gene and Dan, I feel exactly the same way. One of the reasons that composing Concordance has thrived under their directorship through the transition and now currently just surviving is for the exact same reason. Gene and Dan are both virtually void of ego. They are welcome to anybody's music. They'll let you play. They're not just trying to make everything that they do on a concert make them look good. It's very special. And that's one of the reasons that I think composing Concordance is still going so strongly and will for a very long time to come. So anyway, I hope you enjoy this piece. And here's to Joe.
So you get down a bit? Sit down a bit.
Oh, yeah. Dan, do you want to introduce this? Group then. So, Wendy Mae Chambers has a piece, and I don't have a program, so I don't remember anything about it. Oh, okay. Where's everything? Requiem Fantasy. Requiem Fantasy. And we asked Mark Roshinsky, I really need a program for the last name. That would be a program to kill him. To play trombone on this piece. So Mark, please come up and yeah. Give it up for Mark. Yes, go! Is anybody, Wendy's not here, I guess I know where she lives.
In Maine. She's in Maine.
She's in Maine.
Scarborough, Maine.
Okay, Wendy, if you're watching, this is your piece. This is Mark, I'm Gene, this is the audience. Hope you like it.
like to invite to the stage great champion of contemporary music, Supové, on the piano, together with Pehrson, another champion of contemporary music. We're going to be performing Joe's composition entitled Sea Changes. I guess that's from Shakespeare, right? The Tempest, that doth suffer a sea change into something rich and strange. We don't really need a Ouija board to get the program notes on some of Joe's compositions, by the way, because we did, fortunately, have the opportunity to talk about his works. And generally, he would talk about the contrasts that he tried to work into the compositions according to the instruments selected and according to the different registers utilized throughout. And Joe, I want to mention, by the way, was not only prolific in terms of his chamber music output. You know, we're hearing chamber music pieces for the most part tonight, one electronic and one vocal work. However, working with Linda and going through the archive, and I think we still have some work to do. Yes, Linda?
Yes.
I mean, he's a very prolific composer, including in the orchestral realm. This is massive scores and so forth. And so I hope that in the future we hope to continue to program Joe's music, of course, but we hope that there will be new discoveries from throughout the decades of his compositions. So without further ado, here's Joseph Peherson's Sea Changes. Thank you so much, Keve. We're so fortunate to have these incredible proponents of contemporary music on the program tonight. I'd like to invite to the stage on the clarinet is Michiyo Suzuki, together with Pallatroni and Akmal Parwez to perform his composition Wens and Widow. And we're so grateful to all of you for making it out tonight. We're glad to see so many familiar faces in the audience. I also want to mention our associate directors, Peter Jarvis and Mills of Paranosis. They were mentioned already. However, we also have associate directors Seltzer and Deborah Kay here with us tonight. You can take a quick bow or wave. They are over by the bar. Great to see you. And Akmal, please tell the audience a little bit about your piece.
Thank you. And anything you want, really.
Yes, before I say anything about my piece, I'd like to say a couple of words about Joe. I knew Joe at Eastman many years ago. We both started our doctoral studies together. I remember we shared a program, a very extended program together, and became friends. But then he didn't finish his studies there, but went to Michigan, I guess, and did his PhD, finished it there. Well, I finished mine and went to Malaysia to teach for 3 years and came back. And we reconnected many years later and became very close friends and mutual admirers. He liked my music and it was mutual, feeling was. And he was a champion of my music. He played, on his programs, many different programs, he would most of the time include me, my music, performances of NYU, Carnegie Recital Hall, Demi Hall, Kosciuszko Foundation, etc., etc. So he was not exactly a mentor, he was a couple of months younger than me, but in essence a mentor. I liked his personality very much, and wrote music at his suggestion for instruments and performances for many years, and had attended many a soiree at Linda and Joe's house, apartment, almost every year for a long time. We'd get together and perform our music, each other's music, and so on. So I do miss him a lot. And I will talk very briefly about the piece I wrote. It's a triptych of Omar Khayyam Rubaya, not in the Farsi original, which I have composed in other places, other times, but a translation, Fitzgerald translation. And the title, Whence and Whither, comes from one of the poems. Alas, that spring should vanish, with the rose is the first one, etc. And later when I sing his piece, I'll talk very briefly about that piece also. And by the way, I was initially, when they started the Composers Concordance, he invited me to some of his meetings, so I'd sit in. I did not become a director or anything, but I was part of the original meetings of the original Composers Concordance.
artist who's been associated with the series from the very beginning, Bill Schimmel. He played on the very first composed Concordance concert, I believe. That was at Salzburger at Barnard back in the day. And in addition to his incredible compositions, he's interpreted on the accordion many new works and premiered many new works by our wonderful colleagues in the series. He's been a great mentor and friend to many of us. He's not able to attend only because of COVID and just the circumstances don't permit for him to be here. However, virtually, and thanks to our VJ, Milica Paranosic, Bill is going to perform Joseph Pehrson, and this is entitled Fuse. Hope you enjoy.
So, Bill Schimmel playing Fuse. When I emailed Bill to say, ask if he wants to be in the concert, he didn't reply saying, I can't do it, let me get you this video. He just sent the video. And then said, oh, by the way, I can't do it, play the video. So that's what happened. And I was like, oh, thank you, this is a nice recording. I'll just play it. We're gonna move on to a piece by Peri, who lives in the building of Joe and Linda. And she'll talk a little. She wrote a piece for English horn, which for you non-musicians, this is not, it's not English or it's not a horn. I don't know why they call it that. Maybe Keve will enlighten us.
You did not tell me to prepare.
I didn't, she did not go to Wikipedia. So Kathleen and Keve are the KK duo, as I call them. If you guys had one more K, you'd be in trouble. Thank you. By the way, obviously I'm drinking whiskey. Joe would approve, don't worry. He'd like to be getting drunk at concerts. Telling you, this is for Joe, it's not for me. Peri, can you say a couple words about it?
Yes, I will. Hi everybody, I'm very happy to have my music presented tonight. I knew Joe for a very long time. I'm not even sure how long it's been that long. But I think it was at the beginning of Concordance. We lived in the same building, and so we saw each other really, literally every day, and we would always be discussing about this piece he was writing, this piece I was writing, music in general, and we saw each other at concerts constantly, and there was this back and forth supportive relationship, and very much so with Linda as well. And my response to a loss is a lot like Gene's. I just think, oh, I have to write a piece about it, and I just sit down and write a piece, and the instrumentation of the English horn was something that I heard, and the piano as well. So thank you very much for coming. Joe is a wonderful guy. I'd be missing.
Thank you, Peri. Oh, Keve, why don't you say something?
So the story is that, this is really called the cor anglais, and when it got translated incorrectly, and they thought angled horn was English, so that's why it got called the English horn.
All right. Very cocky. Another K. Peri and the KK Duo. We need to record an album or something. KK Duo, I like it. I just like the name. So one of my favorite people and people to work with is my friend Dave Taylor, who's also been part of this group for a long time. And Joe wrote a piece for Dave, which he's going to play a little later, but Dave wrote a piece that he's going to play right now. During the pandemic, Dave and I, we recorded a whole album together of duos for bone and guitar because, well, you know. Bass bone, sorry Dave, sorry, my bad. Sorry Mark. So Dave is going to play Ode to Anton. Now his name is Joe. Okay, he's going to explain why.
I wrote it because Composers Concord has been wonderful to me. Joe, Gene, and Dan, very open-minded, as Peter Jarvis was saying. I don't believe they're ego-free. I don't know where he came up with that. But they do have the ability to laugh at themselves. And I appreciated that in this compositional scene very much. Over the course of the last 10 or 15 years, my wife Ronnie and I, Linda and Joe, were part of about a 10-person group that celebrated New Year's Eve every year for the last about 10 or 15 years. So I got to see all sides of Joe and Linda. In fact, we had our last New Year's celebration June 5th. It was the first time without Joe. Yeah, so without further ado, what the guys let me do was write a piece that was devoted to Anton Dvorak.
Oh, Dvorak? I thought it was Labor.
I have the floor, Gene.
Sorry.
And I didn't know what to do. I knew I liked the humoresques. I knew I liked the idea that Dvorak spouted about our indigenous music when he came here in the late 1890s. But then one humoresque became very popular in the 40s. Joan Crawford and John Garfield made a movie humoresque, and it featured, and then all the fiddle players started doing variations on humor. And in my research, I found that Justice William Douglas and Yale law professor Thurman Arnold used to travel back and forth between Washington and Yale. And on the train above the bathrooms, there was passages with "Please refrain from flushing toilets while the train is standing still in the station house." So Justice Douglas put it to the tune of the 7th humoresque. "Passengers will please refrain from flushing toilets while the train is standing still in the station house." So I couldn't resist it. So in the piece, you'll hear indigenous modes and stuff, but you'll also hear some of that.
Thank you, Dave. I'm reminded a little bit of that fellow who was swallowed by the humpback whale was in the news last week.
I saw that.
You know, sometimes we're encouraging with classical musicians, you know, try to get closer to the microphone if you could. Dave, I think your bass trombone just about swallowed the microphone there. Like the humpback one, that poor gentleman.
On your bass, you won't be the whale.
Well, we'd like to invite to the stage, here's Akmal Parwez, together with Kinga Augustyn and Pallatroni. And they're going to perform Joe's composition, Thanatopsis. My Greek is not as good as my French, but I take it the title is A View of Death, Thanatos, Death, and Opsis, View of Death, yes. Thank you.
Mal, do you want to say something about the piece?
Yes, I'd like to. Yeah, Joe had originally written. I can't. He had originally written this piece for his father, in memory of his father, many years ago, and I was teaching at NYU, and he asked me to sing it. He accompanied me on the piano, and we had a kitten violinist at that time. We performed together.
Not as good as Kinga.
Probably hadn't been born yet. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, and then some years later, there was a concert of music set to William Cullen Bryant's poems at the Roslyn Library. It's named after William Cullen Bryant. He lived there for many years. And it was a competition for composers to set his, one of his poems to music. And I entered my piece, and some other people did. And Joe's was not in the competition because it was not for voice and piano only and violin. So, but nice piece. So his piece was included. My piece was for soprano and piano, and somebody, of course, I didn't sing it. And it won the only prize. I was lucky. And then there was a couple of honorable mentions, and those other composers that I didn't, they were out of town, they called me and asked me to sing their pieces. So, and it's a CD, it was produced, recorded live, and then produced. It was a different violinist at that time again, but Joe accompanied me on the piano. So this would be the third time, unfortunately, without Joe. But we have an excellent pianist, Sean Pallatroni. We only met yesterday.
By the way, Sean accompanies Linda for the ballet classes, right?
For ballet.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah. We all just met Sean.
And on the violin, of course, she's the third violin, excellent violinist, Kinga.
Yeah. Do it.
of gladness and a smile. An eloquence of beauty, and she glides into his darker musings with a mind, and healing sympathy that steals away the sharpness ere he is aware. When thoughts of the bitter are come like a blight over the spirit, and sad images of the sun in agony and shout and mourn, and breathless darkness and the narrow path make me to shudder and grow sick in heart. Go forth under the open sky and list to nature's teachings wide. From all around earth and her waters and the depths of air comes a still voice. Yet a few days, and thee, the all-beholding sun, shall see no more in all his force, nor yet in the cold ground where thy pale form was laid with many tears, nor in the embrace of ocean shall exist thy image. Earth that nourished thee shall claim thy growth, to be resolved to earth again, and lost each human trace, surrendering up thine individual being, shalt thou go to mix forever with the elements. So live that when thy summons comes to join the innumerable caravan which moves to that mysterious realm where each shall take his chamber in the silent halls of death. Then go not like a quarry slave at night.
Way back when I was in college, I had a job working as an assistant to the composer Otto Luning. Otto Luning was advisor to Joe and Pat in the creation of the Concordance series. And Otto, whom you see in the photos here, he was a prolific composer and flutist and pioneer of electronic music. Kathleen Luning just passed away a few months ago, Otto's widow. And so in a way, this next piece, The Lament, of course, is in memory of Joe. In a way, I'm lamenting the loss of this whole sort of universe of sound, which I remember from back in those earlier years of electronic music. When Joe would visit Otto, he seemed very serious, pretty consistently so. Had the series Composers Concordance, and they were working on the concerts. And while other visitors would show up there at the apartment on Riverside Drive, and they'd be joking around and maybe drinking a little bit of white wine with Otto, Joe always struck me as very, very serious-minded. Over the years, as I got to know Joe and to work with Joe, collaborating, performing, and so forth, I remember a concert Patrick Graham put together called H2 Opus and so forth. We got to work on many concerts together, and I got to see a different side of Joe, which I guess is represented in this next photo. There he is. I gotta get out of the way here, right? There's the boombox. Joe actually he had quite a comedic talent. He had talents in a way which he didn't entirely, I wouldn't say, even pursue them to the nth degree. He really was a terrific teacher as well. He really could have gone into academics, and when he visited, in addition to teaching college classes and stuff, I've been teaching in community centers for many, many years, and had many guest artists visit over the years. And when Joe visited, the chalkboard was there, he saw the chalk, and he started explaining to a class of senior citizens from all walks of life about microtonal music, not talking over their heads, or not talking too fast, or too slow, or too loud, or too soft. It was just a terrific, terrific class on microtonal music that Joe gave. I think maybe he could have gone into comedic acting. He could have been an incredible academic. Anyway, so I thought of this photograph, and I thought, well, I got to write something for a live instrument and tape. I remember the photo with the boombox, and I know that he was a fan of the bass flute. Joe composed for bass flute as well. And very, very lucky to have premiering The Lament. This is my great friend and colleague, Kaoru Watanabe, on bass flute. So I hope you enjoy it.
Vancouver. Kirill also plays the taiko drums. Like really, actually we met doing the taiko drums. That was crazy. So I don't know if you guys noticed, but the way I programmed this thing was Joe piece, somebody else piece, Joe piece, somebody else piece. You digging on that? Anyway, Dave Taylor told me when I asked him to be part of the program, he's like, Joe, wrote me a piece. And I didn't know. And the piece is called "I Won't Get Any Higher."
I ain't getting any higher.
Is it Rolling Stone?
Well, no, it might have been. I didn't know at first. I thought maybe he knew something about me that some people might have.
Yeah.
That's true. It wasn't. No. He actually wrote the piece about an octave lower than bass trombone pieces are written, and he stayed down there for like 7 minutes.
It's a range.
And I didn't understand really at the time I played it. I played it for years. How much care you put into it, and that's what I'm hearing from most of these pieces.
Beautiful.
The amazing amount of care, the detail.
What year did you?
This was 2008.
2008. I was only 5 years old.
But you were a very intelligent 5 because you were part of this composer's Concordance.
Probably was. I probably was at that point. Anyway, I'm turning 50 very soon, and we're gonna have a concert right here. This is gonna be our first Concordance concert. Gene is 50, but after that, I'm going backwards. The year after that, I'm gonna be 49. So I decided 50 is gonna be the last aging year. So Dave Taylor again, and
Stall for me a little bit.
I'm gonna stall for you. So some jokes, trombone jokes. They're all really dirty, I can say. There's a really dirty French horn joke. You know that one? I'm gonna stop.
What you gonna?
Let me see the score. Oh, this is a beautiful score. I won't get any higher. It actually says on the score for Dave Taylor, so this is a real deal.
I'm very thrilled that he wrote it, and Dan was spot on because the humor in this piece kind of comes through, you know.
Do we want this? Huh? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter because it's a bass trombone.
Hey!
It's not one of those English horns or whatever. The electric guitar of the 20th century.
Stand.
You want to come
Yeah,
here?
stand. Thank you so much.
I'm his personal,
And thank you for letting me do
So, this next piece, all right, I was saying I was doing Joe, other people, but now there was more Joe, so everything's Joe from now on. Sorry, I messed up. It's good. So now we have Joe's piece, which Michiyo and Lynn premiered with Joe on piano. Am I right? It was here? And drum. But Kathy's going to take Joe's place. Thank you, Kathy. And this piece is called Trio Visiones. No, it's just visions. I like to put like a weird thing. Everybody set up? Higher stand? Oh, jeez, I have a drink. I'm gonna need to, Peter, can you hold this? Peter, don't drink my drink, Peter. I was higher earlier. No, I'm higher. You can't get any higher. I can't get any higher. Is this good? And where are you gonna sleep? Kathy, do you want me to do anything?
No, just.
You're my best friend. See, that's what I like Kathy, because she doesn't ask me to do things. I like bitch you with me, but.
Yeah, but Dan asked you.
Huh?
Dan asked you.
Oh, good.
You got
I'm gonna wait. Does anybody from this group want to say anything about Joe? You guys, you guys could say it.
Sure, I'll just say a couple things. So I actually thought it would be nice to do this piece tonight because I believe it was one of the last times Joe performed on piano, and Michiyo and I played with him like G said, and Joe was super happy after the performance, and I just remember that. That's one of the memories I have of him in his recent years. So now we have Kathy joining us, and it's really great. So I hope you enjoy.